Today, we're going to talk about 3 major breaches from 2019 and 2020 and understand the threats that were out there that caused the breaches. From this, hopefully you'll understand that maybe the way we're looking at security is a little off, and maybe the problem isn't a tools problem, but rather a tool's effectiveness or operational problem. So let's dig into it. Travelex. So if you've traveled internationally, at the international airports, you've probably seen those little kiosks where you can do your currency exchange from US dollars to just about any currency you want. And that's a big portion of Travelex's business. But their larger business is that they run the exchange, the currency exchange for major banks, for bank-to-bank business. So when my mom went to HSBC went through Travelex, which connected to Wells Fargo or B of A as the exchange service. So the domestic banks know how much to debit an account for the transaction that happens overseas. So major banks like HSBC and Royal Bank of Scotland used Travelex. On New Year's Eve, Travelex had a major breach and they had to take down all of their systems. Let's talk about what the breach was. Now, you all know what a VPN is, right? A VPN is a way for individuals that are off network to connect VPN to internal services. In Travelex's environment, they use Pulse Secure. Now, Pulse was spun off from Juniper, which was kind of the gold standard for VPNs for a long time. Pulse is a pretty good product. However, the version that Travelex was running had a major known vulnerability. You could log through the Pulse Secure VPN with 0 credentials. Zip, 0, nada, Nathan, Nathaniel. You could pass right through without even entering a username and password. Now, a bad guy knew about this. So our bad guy here went looking for open Pulse Secure VPNs. And they found Travelex's. And they were able to connect to back-end services through the VPN, again, with no credentials because of a known vulnerability. They exfiltrated 5 gigs of data. That included proprietary information, financial transactions, and PII information, personal identification information. In the EU, that's a very bad thing. If you have a breach where PII is exposed and you can't show that you were trying to contain it or trying to protect the information appropriately, the fine is $22 million or 4% of last year's annual revenue. That's a major fine, and that's a big problem for Travelex. However, there's a larger issue for Travelex than just the fine. Because they were breached and because it was public, Travelex had a major loss of reputation, which could potentially lead to a loss of customers, which equates to a loss of revenue. So the fine was bad, but think about this. Do you think HSBC or Royal Bank of Scotland is out searching for a new exchange service? Probably. Imagine the billions of dollars that HSBC and Royal Bank of Scotland lost because they couldn't do international business because their exchange service was down.